Recently, I've become quite introspective about life and about where I'm at in life. At 49 years old, getting ready to hit the big number, I have found myself thinking more than ever about this next season of life. As these thoughts have progressed, I have also found myself going back to other thoughts and seasons of life that seem so distant now. This morning, I was thinking through this podcast, and I realized that I had set aside an old journal. I couldn't remember exactly where it was, but I remembered that I had grabbed it from Grandma's house the last time that we were there. So I went into the bedroom, I looked on the shelf that I thought it was on, and there it was, green in all its glory. Mead, 150 sheets, college ruled, 3-subject notebook. I almost hesitated to open it up, but when I did, I was engulfed by what I found on the first page. "1997. Wow. I must have been about 23 years old at that point. We had been married for 3 years since we got married in 1994 at 20 years old. I immediately began to hear my heart race, and I felt a little lump in my throat. What was I going to find on the following pages? It made me excited, but honestly, it made me a little bit leery, a little bit scared as well. The stories of life, sometimes we forget, but a journal never forgets. Journal entry, 8/31/97. I haven't journaled in a long time, so I thought I would try to catch you up on what God has been doing. I have to say, I am amazed. God has done some things in my life the past 3 to 4 weeks that are beyond me. The last time I journaled, or one of the last times I journaled, I was at a point where I was ready to resign from full-time ministry altogether. I had written my resignation letter. I was planning out how to tell Dave and the students, and I was trying to figure out how to do it as quickly as possible. But since the week of CIY in late July, I have watched God revitalize me like never before. I was at a point in ministry where I thought my passion could never be made alive again. I thought for sure that paid ministry was not for me. I was literally at the end of my rope when it came to working in the church. I knew that I could not restore that passion myself. But I thought and even said to a few people, if God wanted to renew my passion, then he could. But I believed with all my heart that I was done. But as soon as I got to this extremely low point, I literally watched God do a miracle of revitalization in my life right in front of me. I know that it has been him because I know that in and of myself, I was done. I was literally ready to resign a month ago. This is not something that I have done or something that I have figured out or instrumented, but God has literally worked a miracle. I have sensed God telling me not to worry about tomorrow or what it will bring or the next month will bring, but rather I have realized through God that I am here today for a reason. God has me here today because he needs me. In parentheses, us, here today. If he wants to do something different with us tomorrow, next month, next year, then I believe he will make it crystal clear. But for the moment, he needs us here. And here is where my heart is and exactly where I want to be. I have prayed for a passion for students and for him to do as he desires with me. And he has answered my prayers in one way by giving me a desire to be around these students more than I have ever had before. He has helped make me more excited about being around them and spending time with them. It has been awesome. Lord, thank you for answering my prayers and for restoring a passion for ministry within me again. I realize this does not mean that ministry is always going to be easy or exciting, but rather it means that I am doing exactly what you want me to be doing today. And there is a great deal of comfort and satisfaction and joy in this fact alone. I love you, Lord. I love you. The past few days have been pretty rough. On Wednesday afternoon, I had a staff evaluation with Dave, and when it came to talking about my weaknesses, he chimed in and talked for a good 10 to 20 minutes about the areas where I am weak. I was really okay with the evaluation because most of what he said I agreed with. His main concern was that I was not establishing the kind of relationships that need to be established with the students. He was concerned about my lack of involvement at schools and just in simple relationship building. He expressed that he has had as much of a concern for me, whether or not I am the man for the position, as what he did for any other staff member. In other words, I heard him questioning whether or not it's going to work. And to tell you the truth, I am wondering the same thing. The weird part is, I was really feeling good about everything. Youth ministry, personal growth, etc. It was all going very good. But then after this conversation, I began to question whether I am ever going to be able to live up to what Dave expects of me. The bottom line is, I am not here to please Dave, but I am here to please, serve, and be obedient to the Lord. I don't know what all this will bring about. Then yesterday, we ended up taking Dakota into the vet. He had been throwing up, and so we wanted to get him checked. We ended up finding out some horrible news. Dakota has parvo. He seems to be fighting the deadly virus very well. He hasn't thrown up in almost 24 hours. So that is a great sign. We are praying that God would keep Dakota safe and healthy, and that his immune system would be able to conquer this awful virus. If we lost Dakota, I am not sure what it would do to Chris and I. It would be extremely tough to get through. But I believe the odds are definitely on our side, because Dakota really seems to be doing good. He is holding down water, and we fed him some food, 1 teaspoon, for the first time this morning, since we had found out that he had the virus. Journal entry 10/10/97. Well, I guess you could say today was the day. I ended up going to Dave today and telling him that I thought it was best for me to step down from my position at the church. Looking back on the past 2 years or so, I really do feel like this is the best decision for all parties. But that is not to say that it is easy. This has been one of the toughest decisions of my life. We have spent the last 2 years or so grueling over this very decision. Should I stay in youth ministry or not? And after 2 grueling years of prayer and thinking and talking with respected people, I have finally decided to make a change. I could have put off this decision a few more months or possibly another year, but I believe eventually it would have come to making this very decision again. Like I said, the decision has been extremely difficult, but it is not like I have made a rash or a hasty decision. This decision has come in time, in fact, quite a long span of time. I feel like this is definitely the time in our lives for me to make a change. If I am going to, I feel like this is definitely the time in our lives for me to make a change if I'm going to. We don't have kids. Chris earns enough to support us, and we have no debt, etc. This is as good a time as any to make a change like this and begin looking into some other areas to see to what I like or might enjoy. I have been thinking seriously about going back to school to get my master's in marriage and family and child counseling. I think I may enjoy being a Christian counselor, although this degree, along with licensure, would be a fairly lengthy process. If it is something that I would enjoy, then I am not against putting in the time. Also, this area would still allow me to have a great platform for ministry, which would be awesome. After making such a major decision like this, it is definitely easy to have some doubts. I can catch myself thinking, was this the best decision, or is God pleased with the decision? And so on. Plus, at this point in time, I am really still at the beginning of the process. I still have to tell the adults and the students and the congregation. This is not something that I look forward to, but still in my hearts, when I reflect on the past 2 years in youth ministry, I believe this is the best decision for everyone. Now that the decision was actually made, I really want to make sure that I use the next few years to bathe in the Lord, as Oswald Chambers puts it. This is a great opportunity for me to truly allow Him to saturate every aspect of my life like never before. What a comfort it is to know that His will is not a place or a set of circumstances, but God's ultimate will is for me to allow Him to possess every single area of my life: heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. This is God's will for me. And as long as I am in His will, in this biblical sense, then He will work through me and shine through me no matter where I end up going throughout this life. Again, the fact is, this decision was going to come at some point. I could have kept putting it off month after month, but all the time I would have known in my heart of hearts that youth ministry was not where I desired to be long term. What kind of effective ministry can be built upon such a short-term mindset? It is not fair for anyone for me to keep going like this, with these thoughts month after month. These students need someone who has a deep passion for youth ministry. They need someone who is going to be here long-term, like really long-term, like 10 to 15 years or so. And again, I was definitely convinced that I was not that man. Also, making the decision now allows me to be 6 months, maybe a year ahead in finding what it is that I would like to spend much of the rest of my life doing. Granted, my mind is full and flustered at this time, and part of me still can't believe I actually made the decision. Really, that kind of freaks me out when I think about it sometimes, because it means that I am going to once again be in an unknown state, and I am going to be thrust from what is comfortable and normal to me into some new arenas in life that I'm not used to and I've never experienced. In a way, that can be scary, but in a way, it can also be very exciting. Lord, lead me each step of the way throughout all of the choices that there will be for us to make. Lead us as You alone know best. I love You and entrust to You my whole life, marriage, etc. Do with me as You desire. Amen.